Warning, this podcast contains lots of spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the ASOTV podcast for Supernatural, Season 10, Episode 11, There's No Place Like Home. I'm your host, Mike, and joining me are Omikins.
Hey.
You seem so happy.
No.
And Clio.
Hi.
Hi. So what's going on?
This?
How'd you like this episode?
I should start, or should I not? Because I don't want to bring down the mood. I'm already...
Clio, go for it.
I actually like this episode. At first I was like, oh, it's going to be a dumb way that they do an evil Charlie, but the whole split was pretty interesting. I liked how they did that.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I was expecting some kind of possession, or she became the new Wicked Witch, or
exactly, something dumb.
Something, like that. I was pleasantly surprised that it was a complete and total good-evil split.
Yes. See, going into this episode, I was just... I didn't know. I was done. I don't like Charlie. I don't like her. I don't know why. I just don't. And... it was a nice surprise that they took this route to change her up like this because it was refreshing, but I still ended up not liking it at all, liking her at all.
Yeah, and yet you love Felicia Day.
Yes.
In everything else.
Felicia Day is a wonderful person. She's a great actress. I'm not blaming her acting at all for this character. No, it's... For me, I just don't like the character, the writing that goes along with her. It just doesn't seem... It's not satisfactory at all, for me, anyways. I know there's a lot of people out there who love Charlie, and they worship the character, think she's amazing. I, on the other hand, think the exact opposite.
Well, alright. So, she's home, split in two. Dean gets full-on Black Widowed by evil Charlie. Come on. I loved his reaction. You got her pinned down, and then, she grabs him with her legs, and he's just like, crap.
Because Dean goes for the very, binary punch, and then she's just like, whoop, 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 and it's like, what's happening to me?
And he realizes he's pretty much fucked. He's like, shit. It was beautiful. That was and that was probably the best part of the episode for me, is he gets completely pwned, and then he runs outside, finds Baby's tires completely flat.
Oh, God.
At which point I'm thinking, oh my God, Charlie's gonna die this episode.
Because she slashed Baby's tires.
Oh, boy.
Nobody touches Baby.
Dark Charlie was hating on Baby tonight. It was just, in this episode, I was like, oh God, Dean is going to lose his shit completely.
Right, because at the beginning, we find that Dean is on some kind of no booze, crazy, healthy, all natural diet to maybe curb his urges to kill people. And then, he finds flat tires.
He's going too far extreme, though.
He really is.
He made an egg white omelet. You can be healthy and not, go too far.
I love Sam. This is delicious.
This is disgusting.
This is disgusting. Oh, poor Dean. I felt so bad for him, especially when he was eating the salad. Because Dean doesn't eat salads. But anyway, the good Charlie drives down the road at that point, and that was the pleasant surprise. Best part of the episode. Like, oh, thank God, it's not a possession or anything like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't lame. But, throughout this whole episode, do you think that the parallel they drew between, Charlie's dark side, Dark Charlie, and Dean's dark side with the mark, do you think it was a bit heavy-handed?
Parallel as in they were the same, just not?
I guess, like, her dark side is split out of her light side, but his dark side is there and showing itself, but still in him.
Yeah. I mean, there were some parts where I was like, oh my god, I get it. Dean is evil. And you're using Charlie to be like, oh, hey, look, Dean's just like this. And it's like, yeah, I get it. I don't think it was too heavy-handed in this episode, but they've done this before.
Yes, they have. I don't know. It seems...
With specifically the Slender Man episode.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot that episode was a thing. Huh.
Well, that's new.
I don't know. It didn't seem too
With
heavy.
that, in this episode, no.
Yeah.
This episode was good.
Yeah, this episode was pretty good. It wasn't that heavy, but it was kind of obvious that's, the line they were trying to draw there. And,
yeah.
She stole baby. I mean, not only did she slash the tires, Dean fixes them, and then she just outright steals it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't even explain. I mean, that would make Dean feel like she's super evil. I mean, the actual Charlie knows that Dean is in fact in love with his car, so.
Mm-hmm. So of course, evil her is going to fuck with the car.
Mm-hmm.
What way to fuck with the man? Then screw it what he loves. So, yeah. I mean, what exactly, do you think this good-evil split really means? Like, I guess at the base level, I would say. Because, I mean, in the end, the good Charlie was able to shoot the, retired man in letters.
Sacrifice. I mean, that's what it came down to. It didn't matter if she was good, if she was evil. There was a sacrifice to be made to make things better. And doesn't matter if you're like the purest of the pure. If something needs to be fixed and you are directly involved, and the only way for you to fix it is to turn the hands and do something that is a moral sacrifice, you're gonna do it.
Yeah, I agree. Even though she is good Charlie and she's about to kill somebody, it is to save a life.
Mm-hmm.
The whole greater good here.
Yep.
So I could see that as being possible, within the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even if it is a supernatural, magical, like, completely good-evil split, it's still, I mean, there's still that bit of bad in somebody, there's still a bit of good in that bad somebody. It just, you cannot do a complete split. It doesn't work that way. Even with magic involved, there's always a little bit of, what do they say? That, there's always a consequence with magic.
Yeah, magic always comes at a price. It's like a theme in how many different shows.
Yep.
Yeah, Deary.
Deary.
Oh, God.
Magic comes with the prize.
So, one thing we didn't mention is, the good-evil split, they're still linked. What you do to one is going to happen to the other. So, with that in mind, I mean, we do see, good Charlie all of a sudden screaming in pain and becoming injured because Dean's beating the ever-loving crap out of evil Charlie. Did you think for a second that he was going to go too far? I mean, farther than he did. I mean, he just straight out breaks her arm.
He would have. He would have gone completely... He would have lost it. But Sam came out and he snapped out of it completely. And if Sam wouldn't have walked out with good Charlie in his arms, Dean would have lost it. I don't think this regimen and this diet and all these changes he's making is going to help him in any way.
Seems to be not, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, he needs something to break him out of it.
Yeah.
Something to snap him out of it. Otherwise, he's just going to keep going.
Yep. I mean, I'm glad that he's trying to take the steps without going and, dipping to, like, Crowley and, getting Metatron again. Like, seriously stupid. I'm glad he's trying to do things on his own terms to try and, control this, because he probably needs to make that step to realize how to do what he has to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sam mentioned it in passing when he's on the phone with Castiel, but I think the answer is to go to Kane, to find Kane.
Didn't we?
That's the only way any of this is gonna get solved.
Yeah, we brought this up, wasn't it? Last episode, that they needed to go see Kane.
Yeah. And they mentioned it again. You know, Kane dealt with this for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, no, Kane got a handle on this, and then Dean says, yeah, after centuries of bloody murder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
see, okay, I mean, after that, Dean was like, yeah, you know, 1,000 years of bloody murder, and then Charlie came and says, like, well, you got one thing over Kane, and I was expecting her to say family, or like, you know, something like that, but she's like, you're Winchester. I'm like, that was so fucking lame. Oh my god.
You're building up to this great
ever.
moment, and it's just like,
yes.
You're a Winchester. Like,
I mean, no, that's not the whole being a Winchester thing. That's not a thing anymore. It's just having family and having friends around you. That was the background premise.
It's not a thing anymore.
Because
it's always been a thing. The only reason they've lasted as long as they've lasted is because they're Winchesters. Because they kept being brought back from the dead.
Because they're
and while
brothers,
their family dies around them, they live.
And their family, and they have friends. I mean, I don't think the name Winchester really means anything more than just, like, the power they have as a family and who, like, as people themselves, not the name.
Everybody else is dead. Except for Charlie now. Like, all their family's dead.
Castiel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can
Castiel's like an honorary Winchester. He's been brought back so many times.
Damn right he is.
I don't know. I just don't see any significance in the name anymore. I just see them as people. So.
And we have Dom in chat right now, who's not here. Shame on him. He's saying that the episode story-wise, this week's takes place before last week's. They just aired it out of order.
What? Wait, what?
It didn't seem like that to me. I
no,
mean, either that or they were
flow.
just. It flowed all right. Maybe it was just that ambiguous that I didn't notice. I mean, honestly, they would have worked either way, both of these episodes. Because, yeah, this episode didn't mention anything that they did last week about Kane. That's not Kane. I'm sorry, about Metatron or anything like that. But then again, last week's episode didn't mention anything about Charlie being back from Oz. Or anything like that. Or about Dean trying some crazy fad diet. That's interesting.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I
didn't pick up on that at all. But, speaking of, while we're on the subject of Dean needs to find Kane to figure out how to control this, Kane is actually going to be in an upcoming episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that is episode 14, which is 3 from now. But if you... I just found this by accident. I was looking... when Gallivant concluded, I was looking at Timothy Odmanson's IMDb page, and the most recent thing it said he did was Kane, and it was an unaired episode. And I was like, ooh! So... I'm excited for that. I'm never going to be able to look at the character the same way again. I say this all the time because after watching him dance around like a ninny and sing and be all musical, I can't imagine him being the whole serious knight of hell again.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. So the wizard's dead. At the end of this, the Wizard of Oz has been slain. So does that mean the gate to Oz will stay closed forever?
There's always a way. I mean, there's always a way. Doesn't matter what kind of show that, as long as there's magic in the show, there's always a way.
I got to agree, and they'll write some way in for it to happen if they want it to happen in the future.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that if Oz is going to be seen again, someone on that side is going to have to open it, because the Man in Letters made it seem like the only key that was left on this side, or the only intact key that was left, is now broken. So, no more getting back there.
Oh.
And for the end, Charlie forgives Dean. They hug it out. And
She forgave him for beating up her dark side.
well,
For beating her up. I mean, the dark side's
Technically.
part of her, so.
yeah, the dark side's part of her.
I mean, like, okay, he wouldn't have lifted a finger to her if, you know, he... I know she's forgiving him, but it wasn't really him. It's basically the same kind of flip. It was the mark that made him do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if she, like, it happened, she forgave him. He's like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I still did it. Which, no, you didn't. The mark did.
If he was, if he never had the mark, he would have done everything in his power to subdue Dark Charlie rather than go
Apeshit.
apeshit. That is a great word for it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of something more clever. But after that, we find that Charlie, she says she's going to track down a lead in Italy. So, and that she'll call if she finds anything. How much more Charlie do you think we're going to get this season?
Or at least, I mean, might see her a little, might hear about her, phone calls and stuff. She said she's just going to call. Doesn't mean she's going to show up in another episode.
That's true.
Right. I mean, we got her, once a season so far?
Yeah.
For the last few seasons?
We might see more of her. It's not in the realm of, it's completely possible. It's just, should we?
I don't know.
I mean, we're definitely gonna, season 11, it's been confirmed, right? We're gonna see her again. Unless she ends up getting aced by the end of this season.
Yeah,
right?
I forgot. They did pick this up for season 11.
Yeah. So, I mean, unless they ace Charlie off to one time, we're gonna see her at least once per season from now until the end.
Mm-hmm. All right, then. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about for this episode? Because it was a pretty concise episode.
It's pretty straightforward.
I mean,
I really liked when Charlie was like, being good is no fun at all. I just look at that woman and I think I want to put her through college.
Yeah, normally I'd be staring at that bartender's ass, but all I want to do is drink club soda and send her to college.
Send her to college. That was great.
So Dom says in chat that he hasn't watched it yet, but he loves Charlie. He wants her in every episode, a season regular like Crowley and Cass.
He says that just to piss me off.
Well, of course he does, and we both know this.
Yeah, I know.
We all know this. Everybody knows this. Anybody who's paid attention to our podcast for the past season knows this. Dom, ever the instigator. So, next week's episode, it's looking to be some filler, but anyway, it looks interesting from the promo that I saw. So, it's next week's episode is called About a Boy, and Dean is turned into his 14-year-old self. Looking to get Dean out of the bunker, Sam finds a case for him and Dean to investigate. People are disappearing into thin air with only their clothes left behind, from the very War of the Worlds. Sam and Dean suspect fairies or angels, but the truth turns out to be much more shocking. Hansel, guest star Hansel, from Hansel and Gretel, is kidnapping people and turning them into their younger selves to placate the evil witch. Unfortunately, Dean finds this out the hard way after he becomes Hansel's next victim and reverts to his 14-year-old self.
It sounds interesting.
I just remember the knock at the door opening, and it's like, hey, last thing I remember is seeing a bright light, and then I was Bieberfied.
Bieberfied, oh my god. Okay, this is gonna be like, the fear episode, the episode we can hear dogs talk. It's gonna be one of those Dean goofy episodes, and I love those. I love those so much.
The dog talking episode.
This has happened the opposite way already. He was turned into an old man.
He was turned into an old man. I mean, Dean has to experience everything before he dies again. Come on.
Yeah, he goes through all of these. He got turned into an old man. He gained the power to speak to animals. Now he's going to be turned into a kid. He was scared to death of everything. He was mind controlled into turning over his car.
We found out he loves to wear armor and LARP.
Yes, he really likes LARPing. And he likes singing I'm All Out of Love when he's, alone in the car. That was an episode a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else they can do to Dean.
I mean, it's not going to be Dean. It's going to, per se, it's not going to be Jensen Ackles, doing this. That's the funny part, because it's always him acting, right? In most cases, and his reactions and, his giggles and his screams. Those are the funny part. But we're going to have 14-year-old Bieber Jensen.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's right. He got abducted by aliens and beaten. He had a fairy beat the crap out of him.
Exactly.
Well, wasn't it not actually aliens?
No, it was fairies. But, I mean,
they're fairies.
He got abducted in a cornfield by a bright light, and then Tinkerbell beat the crap out of him. So, I can only imagine what other situations they're going to put Dean in before this series is over with. Which doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon, because it already has been renewed for a season 11.
Yep.
And it was renewed early, from what I understand.
I think it's because they had such great views and ratings at the beginning of the season. Because, everybody wanted to see Dean Munn.
Oh, yeah. That was a hell of a ending to last season. He just opens his eyes and he's a demon. I still wish they would have played that out more than they did.
Yeah.
At least a few more episodes. Because Dean being a demon was just...
Yeah.
the whole reason I was excited for this season.
Yeah.
It was different. Entirely different.
Yep.
But, I don't know. They're on the way to removing the mark, it seems, or something.
They have been for a while now. It's nothing new.
Anyway, if there's nothing else you ladies would like to mention, I would believe that's our episode.
Yep.
Bring Jeffrey Dean Morgan back, please. Yeah,
Long
we need. Yeah, no, he's not.
Not the actor, no. John Winchester. John Winchester, long dead. Dom says in chat, confirmed going for 50 seasons.
Oh, okay. Well, geez. I'm going to be an old biddy and drooling and not remembering season 10.
Give him his Men of Letters spinoff.
I can't have that.
Men of Letters spinoff would be interesting. It's like a lot of, I overheard you guys talking about Agent Carter. I hate to bring this in there, but the era is something that some people just can't, connect with properly. It just doesn't seem right. And it would feel the same way for Men of Letters.
Yeah, and it's, something they don't normally cover in, time travel stuff, but if you were to be flung back in time 200 years, even to somewhere, the same country, same language, still massive culture shock.
Yeah. I wasn't even talking about time.
Yeah, I know, but, it's the different time. 1940s, it was a different, as you mentioned, Agent Carter. Men of Letters, same time period-ish. 1940s, 50s, it was a different time, a different era.
Yeah.
It was before the Civil Rights Act. A proper woman was viewed as a housewife, and all kinds of other things that, would shock, confuse, or enrage people of this day and age. But anyway, enough about that. Cleo, where can they find you?
Find me at Cleo Moto.
Everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere. Miss Omikins, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
Most excellent. You can find me on Twitter at Thilidrin. Also on Twitch at Thilidrin. You can find all of us on Facebook, Gmail, Google+, Twitter, YouTube, MySpace, and who knows what else coming into the future at ASOTV Podcast, all one word. You can follow us at all of those places, and mostly YouTube, to find some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next week, farewell. Chow. How fancy of you.